Hey, Coach, congratulations on the win. You've been coaching for a long time and have a lot of experience, but this is different. And I'm just curious, to step in and be able to lead the team to a win like that. Just can you describe your emotions and just how it feels?
Yeah, well, first off, kudos go to Coach Musselman. I'm not in this environment to coach in here if he didn't offer me the opportunity to come here and coach and grow as a college coach. Because you can be in the, coaching as long as you can in the NBA, but this is a different environment. You're dealing with much younger players. So for him trusting me to now take the team out on the road to go play, but also in practice, and I think this is what he does with all of his assistants. We all have opportunities at practice to be in control of a station. But I think that also prepares you for it. And I've had the opportunities of being able to step in and coach and how to coach a team. But, as I said from a couple of days ago, when I shared with Coach Musselman that, I have to coach how I coach, and that's always delicate because you're in between what you feel and what you already do. But Mus just said, hey, just do what you need to do. All he cares about is, hey, just get a win out of it, get a win.
And you fell behind by 8 there with about 9 minutes left. It could have gotten away from you. You called a timeout. What was the message in that moment? And then what did you think about the way the guys responded?
Well, it's a good friend of mine that's with the New York Knicks, and he's almost like a breathologist. And I've always used his technique on breathing. And I called a timeout, and I just told those guys to breathe. Forget about what is just happening, what's happening, to breathe, because I need to get you some clarity in your mind right now. And that really helped. And I think sharing with them that, look, guys, as bad as it is, guess what? I think at that time we were down, what was it, 8 or 9? 8 points. And I said, but we got 6 minutes to go. I said, well, we somewhere in there. We got a lot of time. This is a long game. And the guys, I said, certain guys are going to make a big play. Certain guys are going to get a big rebound. And that came to fruition.
Bob? Hey, Keith, congratulations. You've had a lot of good experiences as an NBA coach, I'm sure, but where does this rank with, I guess, your coaching thrills to beat such a big game and to do it back in your hometown too? What does that mean?
I mean, it was, obviously the time to come back and play a championship game in New Orleans, and family had to come there. I'm literally 8 minutes from here. 8 minutes from here. When I went to my mom's house on yesterday, and I shared in the beginning, I hadn't seen her in 3 years. And to walk in, and when I went into the house, she didn't know I was coming because I told her there's a possibility that I may not come. I don't know what the protocol might be. And when I went in, my cousin was out waiting for me, and she just said, hey, one of the other brothers want to see you outside. And she came outside and saw me, and she was speechless, So that was nice. And then to come back here and with all of them right here, 8 minutes from our house, that I pretty much grew up in. And for them to be here once again for a great moment. And again, she has known Coach Musselman from when I started way back in 1989 with him.
And then the guy said, Jalen, I think I see threw Gatorade on you, but he said the other guys threw water on you. Were you expecting that, or how'd that feel?
No, well, it was a big game for him. And every game you win is a big game. And they got to celebrate every game when they win one, and then learn from the ones that they lose. And so when I walked in, I knew something was up because everybody was quiet and it was real fishy. And all of a sudden, when I came around the corner, so I'm sure it was Jay Will and then J.D. Note that kind of instigated all that stuff, along with Devo Davis.
And then that three, Jalen isn't known as a three-point shooter, but they left him open. I think you said something about you're going to get a three. Could you go through that?
I just told him that because he's our catalyst with the basketball. Anytime we get in trouble, the ball got to find Jay Will because he can get everyone centered and get them back where they need to go because the ball's in the middle of the floor. And he's going to make the right decision. But I also said to him, you're going to make a big three here. I don't know when, but you're going to make a big three for us. And it finally came, and he made that big three. We see him shooting threes every day at practice, so we know he can shoot it. It's a confidence thing to do it in a game. And that's where it's going to come down for him to be a three-point shooter because he has the range to do it. I see it every day in his practice, every day when in the morning time when he's working out with one of the coaches or working out with one of the GAs, he shoots it. And he'll tell you, it's just me getting confidence.
Yeah, I got a couple more if time allows. I'll turn it back to Mike. Thanks, Keith.
Mm-hmm.
Hutch.
Coach, you had some decisions to make tonight with Note and how to manage his fouls. Could you walk us through that kind of decision process and how you thought he handled the last about 10 minutes or so with 4 fouls?
We had to just keep telling. Like JD is a guy that's very opportunistic. He wants to get a steal. And I kept sharing with him, you have to be disciplined. You must be disciplined. You know, you got 3 fouls now. Then you get 4 fouls. You know, you got to be disciplined and not go for steals. Just trust the defense and trust your teammates that they're going to be in positions to help you if you're beating off the dribble, because you got a lot of good guys that can create off the dribble. And I think he did that. You know, early in the game, he's trying to get a steal or trying to lead a guy in a different direction. And he was able to do some of those things, you know, and managed to, because we need him in the game because he can create off the dribble and get downhill for us.
And also, I think y'all had taken the lead there with about 2 minutes left, and Fudge had the really big dunk, and playing on the road, ranked team. That could have been a momentum swing. How did you think y'all responded after that play?
Well, it's pretty much traditional how Coach Musselman's team that he's always assembled find that fight somewhere to make runs and get back into the game. You know, that's when I played for him way back in '89. Our teams were always, no matter how much we were down, they're going to find a way to get back in. And that's when you're trying to find that toughness in your players. So this group was the same. They had to keep getting stops. That was the most important thing. And they did do that. And we couldn't score. We hit it's like if someone put a lid on the basket for our team, but they managed to hold the fort down. When we couldn't score, they couldn't score. So the score never really separated far enough. 2 baskets, you're back in the game. And that's what they did. And we found a way to make some big plays. Stanley, you know, we always on him about rebounding. And we share with him that he has to get a big rebound. And I just think our overall, you know, we brought Coach Musselman into the locker room with us via FaceTime so he can celebrate this moment with us as he's recovering at home.
Scotty.
Yeah, Coach, you guys were plus 18 in JD's 27 minutes on the floor, which is pretty incredible in a close game. With a big game today on the road against a ranked team, combined with what he's kind of already done in the league before today, is JD kind of showing he's really one of the more valuable guys in this league right now?
Oh, yeah, without a question, because JD can play in all 3 areas of the floor. You know, once he developed a habit of disciplined defensive basketball, that's what has to happen for him, where he's not trying to get a steal, get himself in trouble. But from an offensive standpoint, JD has the ability to shoot the 3 ball, to get to the mid area, and also get and finish it at the rim with both right hand and left hand. And that's pretty good for a player. And also we got him playing more point guard now, because now we're just going to keep working him on vision. What do you see when you go certain area? You can't always be thinking it's going to just be JD. You have to also make plays for your teammates. And so it's a developmental habit for him, what we do in our drills every day with Coach Muss and with the group to get him to see things on the floor, and then use the ability tonight, because we knew this was a switching team. Before, invite the switch, back it out, and go when you're ready to go for yourself or for a teammate. And that's what he's done, Scotty.
Randy.
Keith, congratulations on the victory tonight. LSU, one of the better defensive country. They relied 56, 58 points a game. What was the offensive emphasis tonight for the Razorbacks?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing for us was that we had to play in a lot of space. This team, very long athletically, they get to places. The center can switch out on a guard. But if you try to attack that center or any of those players too soon, you're going to be in trouble. And we got in trouble a couple of times when we tried to do that. We had to back out and create the space first to now make a play. And especially when you have guys that can create off the dribble, get downhill and make some plays. Now, we had some turnovers in those situations, but the most important thing was that we had to keep space. Space was our best friend. Defensively, not having space for an opponent is your friend. Offensively, you want to have a ton of space. And I think our guys started to get to that a little bit.
Was that the added emphasis of taking the ball inside? You had 30 points inside the paint.
And that was another game theme on the board. We can settle, and you have to be frank with these guys. We are not a good three-point shooting team. We cannot settle for threes. What we can do is get to the paint, make a play, draw a foul. Now maybe you kick it out and the guy can make a timely 3. If not, let's make the free throw line our friend, because now we know you can possibly make free throws. And that was the key for us. Paint touches, get to the free throw line, timely three-point shooting. You know, when you're wide open, feet set, and now you make a play.
Christina.
Coach, I was also just wondering about three-point defense. You know, three-point defense has been kind of a problem for this team so far, but held LSU to 26%. So I was just wondering what was different about this game.
Well, I think a combination of, what Coach Argino wanted to do with this defense, is switch to kill the three. Switch to take away rotation, even on the NBA level. The limited amount of time that you're in rotation limited the opportunity for three-point shooting. And because we switched a great deal, and part of our DNA from day one to switch, things that Muss had already set up for us to be able to do, we just went back into our Rolodex and said, this is going to be a game where our coverage normally is this, but we're going to need to switch because we got to kill this three. And then a guy had to take it personal with Days to be able to not allow him to get a three-point shot going.
Troy.
Hey, Coach, congrats again. I know you kind of already touched on this a little bit, but 0 for 8 from three-point range in the first half. But in the second half, you made 5 threes, and I believe 3 of them were within the last 4 or 5 minutes, and they seemed to be pretty good, timely threes for you guys. How happy were you with your three-point shooting in the second half?
Well, you have to be able to share with a player. Right now, tonight, this is not your strength, okay? This is not your strength, a three-point shot, but you do have a drive game. You can get to the foul line. And so the timely threes that we talked about was when there was a paint touch, kick out three, or there was a nice post pass, and now we can spray the ball out to someone on the perimeter. And I think our guys kind of bought into that, but they made some big threes. JD made a big one. We had a rainbow one. I get on him all the time a little bit as developing and growing as a player. You're not Curry and you're not Damian Lillard. So you have to stop pulling up from deep to show people that you can shoot from that deep. I'm just focusing on, is the ball going in? And Coach Muss is focusing on, is the ball going in? So if you're not those two guys, you shouldn't be doing that. But he made some big threes during the course of the game, as well as some of my other guys.
Bob, wrap us up, please.
Yeah, Keith, Jalen, of course, he's known for taking charges, but 4 today and that really big one on the baseline at the end. Just what do you think of, obviously he rebounds, he scores, but those charges were really big too. What do you think of his ability to do that, and especially today in such a big game?
Well, that's a super skill, first challenging shots at the rim as a shot blocker, and then being aware to be out of the restricted area to take those charges. And he's not afraid to give up his body. He gives his body up a ton, We did a thing with defensive grading these players based on the concepts, not one-on-one and all those things there. And Jalen graded out at the top because he knows where to be, when to be there, and how to be there. And while he's taking charges, that's something he's always done. He's not afraid of it. I just try to tell him, make sure you have the padding that you need because you're going to be on the floor a lot. And he doesn't mind giving up his body.
And then you said you hadn't seen your mom in 3 years, I assume, for COVID safety. I mean, what was it like seeing her? And I hope you guys got to share some time after the game. And if so, what was that like?
Yeah, well, got a chance to see briefly with her yesterday because we had to get back over here for a team film and a team dinner that we had, the bonding part of that. So I only spent about an hour and a half, close to 2 hours with her yesterday. And then she came to the game and I got a chance to spend some time with her. Now, once I finish this, I'll go back out before we get on the bus to leave to get to the airport. That was always good because we wanted her to come out to visit us in California, but it was just too risky for her to get on a plane and fly. And so the timing of it all was to make sure that COVID had settled down a little bit to be able to see her. And obviously it was great seeing her. My son also played today in the Hula Bowl, so we had a lot of stuff going on. And then I also had a death in the family. So I had half my family that would have come to the game as well, had to go to a funeral service today.
I'm sorry to hear about that. We can make a big difference. Like Jalen was saying, you guys were at the bottom of the SEC barrel at this time a week ago. Now, you're springing back to life. Just how do you feel about how the teams responded to that tough 0-3 start and just how well you guys are playing and moving forward?
Well, it's something that Coach does all the time. We're trying to find a combination. He's trying to find the right combination. Obviously, the assistant coach, are all right there with him. We're all trying to find the fit of everyone, who fits together. And eventually you start settling in on, say, okay, for 2.5 games prior to the Missouri game, we had played some good basketball. We just couldn't come away with a win. So you saw some growth taking place with this team. We just couldn't get the win. At some point, you just keep grinding. You keep grinding, and eventually you get to a point where you find a way to win big. And then you win big on the road, which now keeps confidence building. But, we're not going to allow these guys to get too comfortable. We always say, and as a basketball player myself, enjoy the win, celebrate the win, then we'll get back to work the next day.
Okay, thanks, Keith.
Okay, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Bye-bye.